now like to ask our next speaker, Mr. Dani Dayan, who is the chairman of Yad Vashem, the World Holocaust Remembrance Center, to deliver his remarks.
Dear Holocaust survivors and their families, Secretary General Guterres, Ambassador Erdan, Excellencies, honored dignitaries and friends. Nachman Skariton, birthplace Zhashkov, Ukraine, place of death Warkowicz, Poland. Aryeh Skariton, birthplace Zhashkov, Ukraine, place of death Warkowicz, Poland. Approximate date of death June 1942. Circumstances of death: two brothers caught by the Nazis and led to a pit where they were shot dead, together with the entire Jewish community of Warkowicz. I have just read out portions of pages of testimony regarding two Jews murdered during the Shoah from among the 2.7 million pages recorded at Yad Vashem in Jerusalem over the past 70 years. We have gathered authenticated records of an additional 2.1 million names of Jews murdered brutally and criminally during the Shoah by Nazi Germany and its collaborators, for whom no one has yet filled out pages of testimony. Altogether, over 4,800,000 names. Certainly, they are all worthy of remembrance, of reverence, which is, of course, why we are here today for this very special and memorable occasion. But the two names that I just read out to you, Aryeh and Nachman Skariton, and the story of their murder in Warkowicz, is particularly meaningful to me. Because they were my great-uncles, Nachman and Aryeh, the brothers of my grandmother Hannah, names that I grew up with, names that, as the Jewish tradition goes, are present in every single branch of my family, either as first or second name or middle name. Names I associate with pain, with sorrow, with longings, name with meaning, names that deserve and have received a Yad Vashem, the biblical Hebrew term for name and memorial. So when I searched with my very hands and eyes for my uncles' names and found them in Yad Vashem's original book of names at our Shoah exhibit in Auschwitz-Birkenau in June of last year, I knew that the deeply moving experience I had there of search for and discovery of the name of individual victims of the Shoah as part of a vast compilation of the many millions of my murdered fellow Jews was an experience that must be made possible for any person, anywhere, of any nation, community, or faith, who, like me, like you, seek to connect with the crucial, deeply significant story of the Shoah. This is why Yad Vashem, the World Holocaust Remembrance Center, together with the mission of the State of Israel to the United Nations, have brought this newly updated and authorized book of names here to the UN headquarters. And why my distinguished friend, Secretary General Guterres, decided graciously and insightfully to accept the proposal that I brought to him to inaugurate this new book of names here of all places, and now of all times, on the eve of the International Day of Commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust. The Nazis and their collaborators, driven by maniacal hatred of Jews and anything they perceived as Jewish, sought to exterminate every Jew, everywhere, and to erase the memory of their identities and their culture. The psalmist foresaw that thousands of years ago. אמרו, לכו ונכחידם מגוי, ולא יזכר שם ישראל עוד. They have said, come, let us destroy them as a nation, so that Israel's name is remembered no more. Tragically, we cannot revive even one of the millions that they murdered. But we can and do restore the names and the stories of the victims. We meticulously gather every possible shred of testimony about their lives and deaths, about their values, their aspirations, their achievements. And in a very different way, we painstakingly study the contexts and circumstances of the horrible processes and events in which their lives were violently stolen from them. We do this because the victims deserve no less, but also because we sense that by recording, studying, and teaching their names and stories, we are helping to prevent horrors that even remotely might resemble the Shoah. History never repeats itself exactly, but phenomena of extreme anti-Semitism and other forms of racial hatred, aggressive violence, corrupt dictatorships are recurring. To combat and overcome them, we can and must learn from the Shoah. And we start that by faithfully and accurately remembering its victims. That is why the Book of Names is here in the United Nations today and why it is so significant. I wish to thank the benefactors and hosts and appreciate the historical experts and creative designers that made this project possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dayan.